Okay, friends, we're going to read today about some more plants. And before we get started, Ms. Beck's going to show you the sunflower.
We already know what a sunflower looks like.
Matthew, honey, we're quiet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are we going to add that to our video?
Our video's already started.
Okay.
So, yesterday we talked about the sunflower. Well, yesterday we talked about flowers and plants, how they grow according to a life cycle. So this is the life cycle of a sunflower. So first we have a new plant, and there's our seed, and so it sprouts up. So we have that little tiny sprout. So there's our seed under the ground, and then it's got a little tiny sprout, and then it's got a bigger sprout, and then it grows into a big flower, and then the leaves start to fall off, or the flowers, and then it goes back into the seeds. So the cycle goes around and around and around, because when those petals fall off, the leaves or the seeds also come out. So you are working on some sunflowers and putting them in order from shortest to tallest, but this is the way that the life cycle of the sunflower goes. Now today we're going to learn about a turnip. Have y'all seen a turnip before?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
This is a picture of a turnip. It is a gigantic vegetable. It's a root vegetable that grows in gardens. Now, this turnip that we're going to learn about is not a regular turnip. It's a make-believe turnip. So it's a story about a turnip.
Is a turnip real?
Real turnips are real, like you can eat them and cook them and everything, but the story we're going to do is not about a real turnip. Our first word is the word budge. Can you all say budge? Budge, it means to move something just a little bit.
I know what budge means.
Gigantic is very, very big. And stew is like a soup, usually with meat and vegetables cooked for a long time. I'm helping my mom cut vegetables for the stew she is making.
And she got one of those little pot things.
Oh yeah, Miss Beck has one too. All right, so today we're going to read the story about the gigantic turnip. This is a picture of a turnip. A turnip grows in a garden. What's a garden? You plant things, right? And usually you can plant vegetables in there. People might plant corn, squash, tomatoes, pumpkins. Why do people plant gardens? What do they need from them? Food, that's right. Now, turnips is something that people might grow. Any of you had some turnips in your garden before?
Yeah, I've had one.
Yeah? Okay.
They're good.
Some people like to eat turnip leaves or greens that grow above the ground. So the green part up there. Another part that they like to eat is the root. They like to eat down here, this part. Ugh. Explain that when a farmer wants to harvest a turnip, he has to dig it up and pull the root out of the ground. So do you think he has to work hard to get that turnip out of the ground?
Yeah.
Yes. Matthew, let me see your sunflowers real quick. Okay. So those of you who are working on your sunflowers, when you put them in order from shortest to tallest, you have to start and do left to right. So the shortest one goes on the left, and then the next one, the next one, the next one, until you get all the way up to the tallest, okay?
Well, I was making a little pot.
That was cute. You can still put that, but you just have to put them still shortest to tallest. All right, so our story is about the life cycle of a very special turnip. The title of this story is called The Gigantic Turnip. Once upon a time, there was an old man who planted vegetable seeds every year to grow vegetables for himself and his wife. One spring day, he planted turnip seeds in a field just over the hill from his house. He let the sun shine on them and the rain water them, and when he thought they should be ready to eat, he went to have a look. As he came up over the hill, to his surprise, he saw a strange bush growing in the middle of the field. As he grew closer, he saw that it was not a bush, but the top of a gigantic turnip. Gigantic means very large. What part of the plant was he looking at? What the part is, what the top, the leaves, right? I've never seen a turnip as big as this one, he said to himself. I must show it to my wife. So he took the turnip top and with a great grunt, he pulled and he pulled and he pulled, but the turnip would not budge. When something will not budge, it means it will not move. That's right. You don't have a color. Go see if you can get it. The old man shouted for his wife to come and help. All right, said the old woman, I'm coming. What do you think she's going to do? Help him. That's right. The old woman took a hold of the old man. The old man took a hold of the turnip, and they pulled and pulled, but they could not pull the turnip out of the ground. So the old woman called their granddaughter. All right, said the granddaughter, I'm coming. The granddaughter took a hold of the old woman. The old woman took a hold of the old man, and the old man took a hold of the turnip. And they pulled, but they could not get the turnip out. So the granddaughter called the grandson over. Here's the grandson.
Right there.
All right, said the grandson, I'm coming. The grandson took a hold of the granddaughter, and the granddaughter took a hold of the woman, and the woman took a hold of the man, and the old man took a hold of the turnip, and they pulled, but they could not pull the turnip out.
That's strong turnip.
Yes. So the grandson called over the dog. Why do you think he called the dog? He needs some more help, right? It's too strong. I like this story. Oh my goodness. The dog barked 4 times. If it could have spoken, it would have said, all right, I'm coming. The dog took a hold of the grandson, and the grandson took a hold of the granddaughter, and the granddaughter took a hold of the old woman, and the old woman took a hold of the old man, and the old man took a hold of the turnip, and they pulled, but they could not get the turnip out. So the dog called the cat. The cat, hold on, we'll find out. The cat meowed loudly, and if it could have spoken, it would have said, all right, I'm coming. The cat took a hold of the dog, and the dog took a hold of the grandson, and the grandson took a hold of the granddaughter, and the granddaughter took a hold of the old woman. The old woman took a hold of the man, and the old man took a hold of the turnip. And they pulled, but they could not pull the turnip out. So the cat called the mouse.
The mouse isn't very strong.
No. The mouse squeaked, and if it could have spoken, it would have said, all right, I'm coming. The mouse took a hold of the cat, and the cat took a hold of the dog, and the dog took a hold of the grandson, and the grandson took a hold of the granddaughter, and the granddaughter took a hold of the old woman, and the old woman took a hold of the man, and the old man took a hold of the turnip, and they pulled. Oh no, but you do shortest to tallest.
Something?
So just the other way. Start with this one and go that way.
Can I tell you something?
What?
The mouse doesn't have any eyes.
I know, he looks weird, doesn't he?
Yeah. And the cat doesn't have a mouth.
Well, it's just a sketch, so they didn't draw everything. So they pulled and they pulled and they pulled. Finally, the turnip popped out, sending everyone tumbling to the ground. Ah!
It's like
That evening, yes,
What is that?
yes, the old woman peeled the turnip, sliced it up, and cooked a delicious turnip stew. A stew is a type of soup. Mmm.
Stew's weird.
Miss Hunter, have you ever had turnip stew?
Never had turnip stew.
They're having turnip stew.
They sure are.
Told you.
She invited the grandson, the granddaughter, and the dog, the cat, and the mouse to eat the stew with them. She gave the mouse an extra helping because he had shown that sometimes a little bit of help can make a big difference. So he gave it just that little bit of extra, right? Little bit of extra force. Liam, that's so beautiful. Good job, buddy. So,
Finally, the mouse has a mouth so it can see.
yeah, it does. So the old man planted the turnip and it grew, but it didn't grow like a normal turnip grows. It grew very, very big. What was the word they used in the story? Gigantic.
Because it's even bigger.
What does the old man plant to get a turnip? What kind of seed?
Plant turnips.
No.
Turnips.
Turnip seeds. That's what it's called. Those trees.
Plant. I said plant turnips.
And what grows out of the turnip seed?
A turnip. I mean, a turnip.
That's right. Do you think this story is fiction or nonfiction?
Non-fiction.
What?
Fiction.
Fiction. Fake.
I think it's fishing. Fishing. Can I go fishing with y'all?
In this word, in this read aloud you heard, when the farmer drew near, he saw that it was not a bush, but the top of a gigantic turnip. Say the word gigantic for me.
Okay, Tina.
That house is gigantic. It has 20 bedrooms.
What?
All right, thumbs up or thumbs down. Ready? If it's gigantic, we're going to put a thumbs up. If it's not gigantic, we're going to put a thumbs down. All right. Are we listening? I hope so. A mouse the size of a shoebox. I tricked y'all. Thumbs up because it said a mouse the size of a shoebox.
Oh.
That's gigantic for a mouse. Thumbs up. See, it's qualifying it, so you have to really, really listen. A person, are you listening to the last part? The size of your hand. Thumbs down, right? That would be a tiny, tiny person.
Yeah, you could swoosh them.
You could step right on them.
Yeah, not even notice like.
Okay, listen.
Just a piece of gum or something.
A pizza as big as a truck. Thumbs up. A book the size of a door. Whoa, that's gigantic. And listen to the last one. A tree the size of your thumb. Thumbs down. That would not be gigantic.
No, your thumb's teeny tiny.
Your thumb's teeny tiny. So we've already been working on it, but you're going to take this sunflower and you're going to color it. And can you guys tell us what color the sunflowers were?
Yellow.
Yellow and
Green.
and Matthew, hold yours up. Brown, right? Brown and black on the inside. And how are we putting them in order? From smallest to biggest, or we could also say shortest to
Biggest.
tallest. Shortest to tallest. I love sunflowers. They're one of my favorite flowers.
Well, I like daisies.
Well, actually, daisies are my favorite flower. Good job, Bane. But sunflowers might be a second favorite. Sunflowers? I have daisies. Huh?